This podcast contains adult language, descriptions of violence, sexual references, and other possibly offensive themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Previously on Back to the Story.
You hear distantly, not voices yet, but you hear music. It's open, and inside you see several individuals, tanned farmers of all types, humans, and mostly individuals of some sort of elven descent. You can see there's a few there sitting on barrels and crates, some on pine straw bales, as they're dancing to this light-hearted violin music. You hear a voice and kind of turn, and you see this old man. He has to be like 130. Well, I'm so glad you joined us. Name's Clyde Fox of Fox Farms. All right, Katie. You're present and eating toast. I just want to hear her say it with a mouthful of toast. Okay. So picking up in this morning as the sun streams through the windows, looking out as you gather yourselves to see the farmers in their fields, plowing or picking away weeds or doing other farmer things, carrying barrels and what have you, various places. You find yourselves in the morning in Haamel.
Well, we should talk to the locals a bit, shouldn't we?
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
We were talking about seeing if they knew anything about this witch.
We probably want to make sure we've got enough food and gear for the journey north.
How many days should it be from here?
From Haamel to Birch Grove.
Mm-hmm.
The next city on the list, if you're going that route, is 4 days.
Yeah, I could do with a little bit of extra supplies. Running a little low on food.
So looking around now that it's in the daytime, you can see the farm that you're actually at that barn. It looks like it's mostly produce. You see another one where it looks like there's a bunch of flowers or herbs of some sort. And there looks like there's another distant one that seems to have more simple produce like rice and wheat as opposed to vegetables.
If we get a bag of rice, that can last us a while on the road.
Yeah, I'll go pick up some supplies. Just subtract your gold and assume you gave it to me if you're actually purchasing rations, and I can go run and do that. I do want to talk to the flower shop at some point in that.
Okay, sure. So yeah, you run around gathering some supplies, going over at some point to the farm where it mostly looks like flowers and herbs and various other things. You see a number of people in the fields, farming, trimming some of the plants.
I'll kind of flag someone down, just ask, excuse me, I have a curious local flower was hoping someone might tell me something about. Who would be the expert around here?
Well, you see a half-elf. Actually, Ezekiel, you'll know these people as Volsians, they're not half-elves per se, but they're humans with a good amount of elven descent. But they look a lot like half-elves. You see an older one in his maybe mid-30s, something like that. Well, that would be Sage, and he points over to a woman. Has darker hair, dark brown. Her lips are very red as if she's wearing lipstick, who's kind of trimming some plants in the shade of this overhang.
Thank you kindly, and I'll go over to Sage.
As you approach, you see her like neatly trimming small buds and leaves off of these plants. Yeah.
Hi there. I was hoping you might help me. We picked up an odd flower on our travels. Not quite sure of its origin. And I will take out the fire flower.
She kind of glances at you at first, continuing with her work, but as she pulled that out, she kind of notices it and puts her trimming shears down, moving over to it. What is this? She kind of looks at you with permission to kind of take it and look it over further.
Of course.
Setting it. Good.
And I will explain to her that when it was alive, it was very, very hot. And now it is dead.
I've never seen one of these before. She kind of puts it on the table, kind of looking at it, testing the petals a bit. An orchid of some kind. My mother, she told me stories about something like this. Would you mind waiting here a second?
Of course.
She runs back. A couple minutes go by, maybe 6 or 7 minutes, and she returns. I'm sorry. My name's Sage. This is Rain. The 30-year-old is named Sage, as she points to someone that resembles her, older, maybe 60s, who introduces herself as Rain. The older woman kind of moves over to the flower. Let's see. She looks at it, squints, and then a smile comes across her face. I've seen something like this before. It's been a long time. Things sure were different then. Where'd you find this?
That's a complicated story.
You don't have to share if you don't want to, but in my youth I saw one. Used to be sweet on a boy around here. She kind of looks over towards one of the other farms, towards the barn where you slept the previous night. He gave me one of these a long time ago. It's been maybe 40 years. I don't know where he got it from. Probably traded it for years' wages, as far as I can tell.
If I may ask, when you had it, was it still ablaze?
Oh, yeah, it was hot. He kept it in a sort of a metal jar. We used it as a lantern. She's smiling in some memory that was fond for her.
Well, thank you very much for sharing.
Yeah, of course. He might know more about it, but like I said, it's been some time.
I'll be sure to ask him. Thank you.
She kind of smiles and nods and takes one last look at it before you take it away.
And I will give them a couple silver to overpay for some flowers and make my leave.
Okay. Yeah, you gather several pretty flowers. They have herbs and stuff too. You can grab some of those, as well as rounding up a few rations in produce and dried meats or whatever, as y'all going to reconvene once more.
Yeah, I'll get some spices to see if, in case I find any more of those rabbits.
So y'all have reconvened in the middle of Haamel. It's not a big place.
Ezekiel, you didn't see anyone selling, like, journals or anything. Do I have to wait till we're at a bigger town, do you think?
Paper's usually pretty expensive, and for a small place like this, maybe. Did I notice a general store or anything while I was out? It didn't seem like that kind of place.
Yeah, there's like 6 buildings here.
I don't even know what we're wiping with.
I don't have a journal or anything like that, but I do have some paper and parchment if you need some.
Sorry, just looking at the medical journal. I was thinking I might start making my own. Who knows who my notes could help in the future? The crazy shit we see and do.
True, you did just extract or surgically remove a heart or a flower from a man's heart.
And ours on a surgery.
Might be good to keep track.
Yeah.
Do you have any other business here? Well,
we do want to ask around about stories about the witch, or any other dangers that we might expect on the road. Maybe somebody knows something about the bugbears.
And how to avoid them.
Thinking back, I'm not certain it was bugbears. The blood... I found blood of something else. It smelled very pure.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure.
Just mercenaries, maybe?
That's my guess. I imagine bugbears would have some foulness.
I feel like that doesn't entirely explain the rather ramshackle weapon that we saw. Then again, none of us really know anything about those mercenary people.
Well, if they're from the lands up north, they're a bit more wild up there.
That could explain what we found them.
Maybe it's some of those folks that people keep confusing you for, Ezekiel?
Probably. I should like to meet one.
Well, maybe we'll be in luck.
Yeah, luck. Well, do we want to split up and track down the various stories we need to find?
Sure.
Okay.
Right.
So you're asking around just about any nearby dangers, stories, stuff like that?
Yeah, and I want to go circle back to, I forget his name, but wherever we slept last night to ask about the flyer.
Sure. So Ezekiel's
Clyde
going
Fox?
to Clyde at Fox Farms. Amsen, I assume, is just asking around for stories specifically.
Local legends of the local area. Yep.
And then I heard some other people are just listening, asking around for dangers, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so Amsen asking around. Give me just a general persuasion check.
All right. Hey, that's really good. That's a 27.
Yeah, and these guys are already super receptive. So with you matching their friendliness, kind of picking up on their traits and kind of reflecting it back to them, they're very reflective, and they tell you the few stories they know. Well, as far as I can tell, there's around here we don't see them too often, but there's these red wolves. That's pretty interesting. The Fox family actually has a pet one. You might have seen him around. He points off trying to find it. After a few minutes, he tells you another story. And, well, it's been a quiet place. Nothing ever bothers us. Nice winds, blessed harvest each season. The winter's cold, but never too cold. They say this place is blessed long before. These trees, as he points to the willow trees kind of surrounding this little clearing, grew to protect this place as a gift to those that came before us. It's a nice place. After he tells you that second story, you see what he's talking about as he points out, oh, there it is right there. You see a large, maybe the size of like a large dog, like a German Shepherd, except its fur is red. It has a large bushy tail that comes out like a fox with white on the end, a fox head and ears, and longer legs than a fox. It's essentially a large dog-sized fox. It kind of runs by you. As it runs by, you see it has these indigo eyes that kind of gloss over. So it tilts its head to the side and kind of trots on past.
Well, that's an interesting looking creature.
Yeah, they call them red wolves. They usually don't come out, but something about they share dreams with old Clyde over there.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Smart. But he tells you a few other, like, local legends in his mind, which is like the watering hole with the best fish and the nicest place to take a nap in a field of heather that grows nearby or whatever.
Even those little things, Amsen would be all over it.
Yeah, just kind of little stuff, little notes of how idyllic and blessed this place seems to be and how peaceful it is. It's strange to not hear any like nearby monster.
Yeah. And as repayment, Amsen's going to offer to tell the story of Saint Gravadine the Solar.
Okay, so you share the story, and he's in awe. He's never heard anything like this before. It's the craziest thing to him. You can tell to him like a crazy story is like catching a 20-pound fish, and like this with flying things and immortals and god tiers. He's in awe. He quickly, like as soon as you tell him, he like runs off and to go tell nearby friends. Jumping from Amsen as they're sharing stories, we'll jump over to Ezekiel. You've gone back to Clyde's place?
Yes.
Okay. You see several individuals that are on the fields. The twins are working. There's even a little 6-year-old that's like running around that's like carrying stuff back and forth.
I will try and find Clyde.
Yeah, you see him nearby. He's kind of overseeing, pointing things this way and there.
Hello there, friend.
Hey there. Good to see you again. And he shakes your hand.
Thank you again for letting us spend the night in your barn.
Anytime, you're welcome to it.
Your horses are lovely creatures, by the way. Well taken care of.
I appreciate that. We treat them right.
I had a question for you. I was talking to Rain over at the other farm, and I was hoping she would identify a flower I found. And she said that you once gave one to her. And I'll take out the orchid.
As you pull it out, you can see, as he looks at it, he doesn't recognize it at first. As he looks over it closer, his jaw goes slack. I haven't seen anything like this in decades. As he kind of gets his eyes real close to it, squints through his old eyesight. Where did you find this?
A traveler on the road.
Yeah, that's something like how I found mine.
Did you have a particularly difficult time with this traveler?
Oh no, she was lovely. Gave her a place to stay, gave her some fresh produce, and it was nice.
Oh really? What was her name?
It's been a long time, but I will never forget it. Her name was Daphne. Sweet as can be.
That's a lovely name. Where did you meet Daphne?
Well, not far outside of town, a couple of decades ago. Shared with her my lunch as I was going fishing, and she gave me this in return.
And you never saw her again after that?
No, not since then.
Well, thank you, friend.
Of course.
Say, I've been meaning to ask. Your little town here seems, well, quite idyllic.
Sure is. Blessed.
We ran into a bit of trouble on the road. I must ask, how do you stay out of everything?
Well, I suppose it's just lucky around here. That's why we settled here. Where our four bears did, at least. No, nothing bothers us too much here. Insects, wolves, none of that really comes near. It's for whatever reason, a blessed place. Secluded and idyllic.
Lovely. Well, I'll let you get back to work. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Of course, and mine lasted a little over a month. It didn't look like that, though, till the end. Take care of it, what's left of it. It don't last forever.
Of course. Thank you, sir.
He smiles as,
I do have a question, though. You wouldn't happen to still have the container used to keep it in somewhere, would you?
Well, I suppose I might. I can go look for it for you.
If you could, I'd be willing to pay you for it.
Oh, don't worry about that. I ain't using it. Let me see if I can find it. And he goes off to search for this container. So as he's going off to search for a few minutes, Ellery and a few others were just asking around about the dangers around town. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just asking around random people, you consistently get that there's no dangerous beasts that come nearby, like wolves or anything like that. There's no bugbears. I mean, they've heard of what they are, but nothing has ever come near them. Verdana, they've heard of them as well, and they don't really leave Haamel at all. Really, people come to them. But really, this consistently, nothing seems to be bothering them. Nothing comes close.
Did any travelers mention stuff that's happening?
Asking about the travelers, yeah, so people mention the wild elves, if they're coming from Porcatcher. Coming from the north, they hear every now and then about bandits or bugbears or something like that, but none of that comes near here.
And I'd like to ask how often travelers pass through.
Thinking about it, they say, every couple weeks, a few people come by. Usually either just a few, like 3, or in groups of like 10. Asking that as well, they've noticed more and more groups of Evolzian, a few groups, not many, and they've noticed these elves with silver hair that come through that they haven't seen before. But other than that, just basic merchants and travelers. Okay. Y'all are asking around? Yep.
As we head back, I know he's not here, but I kind of want to switch to Giant and ask Ball if he had any dreams last night about Daphne.
I have lots of dreams.
But about her specifically.
Not last night.
Okay. If you do, just let us know.
Okay.
Okay.
Eventually, you'll kind of begin to reconvene. It's pretty easy to find each other. You can literally just wave from across the small hamlet. Ezekiel, he eventually digs through his barn in some crate full of who knows what, and eventually finds this, looks like a small lantern is what it looks like, made out of metal. And there's a little tiny door that kind of unlatches and comes down where you can place it inside and close it once again.
Okay.
And gives it to you.
Thank you for your much. And here, hand him 5 silver, because I don't know how money works.
Well, thank you. You don't have to. But if you're ever stopping this way, you have a place to stay. And as you gather your things, your stories, your weird little lantern thing, you're in Haamel. Is there anything else you'll want to do before heading out?
Hey, Ball. You want to give me a hand trying to see if we can get this flower glowing again?
He hesitates, not understanding at first, but then does understand and moves forth. You see flames begin to erupt.
Oh, I was thinking druidcraft because I can't do that, but...
Oh, okay. Flames go away. And he tries to... Roll check. Not great. He tries to get it going, but this flower is different from plants. It's almost something else entirely. He tries to, and a little bit grows out. The heart, the core, where there's this tiny ember inside the nearly dead petals, glows a little bit brighter. He might be able to continuously over the next couple of days try to make it last longer.
Okay. You can work on that.
Okay. So you all have gathered at the edge of Haamel. Are you ready to dive in once more?
Before we leave, it looks like we're going to be moving away from whatever that witch was, and she appears to have left Ball alone. I must admit there is still a certain amount of discomfort I have with this thing, but I don't want to pull us on something we'll regret.
Maybe this is something that we should keep in mind when we're on our way back.
It's going to be a long time from now.
No?
True, but it seems like she's been here a long time.
And they say travelers are infrequent. There probably aren't a lot of others in immediate danger.
That's
I
fair.
understand, though. I don't like leaving things unfinished either, but...
We don't really have much to go on right now.
She used to appear near the city. I wonder what changed. I will reiterate the story that I was told from Rain and Clyde.
Huh. Amsen, did you hear, when you were told the story originally, did you hear about how long her people have been bothering travelers, if it's been a long time or just recently?
I don't believe so. It was a long time, though.
Yeah, I don't think you were told specifically, but it's been a while. Been a long time.
No, I didn't get any sort of specifics on that. Unfortunately, with Legends, it's kind of a long time ago this started, and it's been that way ever since.
Clyde said he shared his lunch with her. Perhaps giving a gift protected him in some way. I can't imagine all travelers are kind to a woman they meet alone on the road.
Maybe that's why everything's so nice here.
Maybe.
Maybe she's protecting the place.
can I cast Detect Evil and Good and just see if there's any kind of vibe? I'll pop it in. I think it just detects creatures, but
Okay.
I do know if a place has been magically consecrated or desecrated.
Okay. Within 30 feet, you immediately notice something. Or at first you don't notice anything, just kind of moving around through Haamel. You notice something turning quickly. You see something otherworldly, nearly vibrant in the color of its eyes. From a land of fairy and dreams, the red wolf, the giant fox, dog-like creature that kind of looks at you, tilting its head to the side.
Amsen, did you find out what these things were?
A little bit.
Were they especially local?
Yes, and they're rather intelligent beings.
Well, it's not a beast. Curious. I will call out in Sylvan. Hey there, fella.
You see a smile come across the fox wolf's face as it steps toward you, looking up at you.
So, what's going on in these plots?
Well, from what I heard, is that around here everything's quiet and peaceful, and that there's kind of a border of trees around this area, kind of marking where everything is protected, everything is perfect. Winters are cold, but they are not too cold and not unbearable. It rains when it needs to. Agriculture is fruitful. That kind of thing.
And I'll look to the fox dog and just ask, so is all that you're doing? Is it Daphne's?
The fox nods.
Is Daphne a friend of yours?
It kind of shakes its shoulders and head back and forth.
Should we be worried about her?
Again, another nod.
Are these people being harmed in any way we don't know?
It stops. Takes another step or two towards you. And it begins to move closer and closer to Ezekiel, trying to gaze into your eyes.
I will kneel down and get my face bit.
Okay. Getting closer, looking into its eyes, that are sort of this pearlescent colors that kind of changes, this sort of greenish color that kind of rotates and spins. In it, you see an image form of you. And you take something and you run it across your hand and it drips onto the ground. And see another figure in his eyes reflecting that drinks from it. The image fades and the fox kind of pulls back.
Sacrifice. Or some kind of blood magic. She's feeding off of them?
It licks his lips as if it's hungry.
Oh, right, I get it. I will take out my knife and slash my hand.
Okay. Doing so, it begins to drip. It moves forward and laps up some of the blood. It moves past you and begins to trot towards the woods, getting to the edge of the tree line, turning back to see if you're following.
Come on, folks, we made a friend. And I'll get them up to... Well, I guess they wouldn't be able to understand my question, so I'll tell them what I've learned so far.
Okay. Friend. Right.
None of you are ever allowed to talk to animals again, because they're always something fucking weird. Alright.
So it trots off. You'll follow it. It's not a quick trot, but it doesn't slow down for you. If you just want to walk, you will not keep up. So you kind of have to go at a slight jog to keep up with this thing. It goes deeper into the willows, curving down and around. Eventually, not too long, maybe 10, 15 minutes go by, this slight jog, as it kind of comes down towards the edge of what looks like a ditch or a rut of some sort. It kind of looks down. As you catch up, it curves down and you see In the middle of a few trees in this small ditch, you see a pillar. It's only maybe 5.5 feet tall, of brownish sandstone. Upon it, there are many swirling symbols carved into it, and coming from it are chains. These chains are made out of some sort of rusted brass or copper material.
All right.
I don't like this.
Millie, do you know what this might be used for?
Do I know what this happens?
Melly, you can go up to it and inspect it if you want to. You can use an Arcana check.
I can't open my character sheet. I don't know why.
I'll open it for you. Can you roll just in the chat and I can tell you the modifier?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, it's a 3.
Oh,
so...
good. But you're pretty good at it, so that's a 10.
Hey!
There's symbols on it. There's glyphs of some sort. There's magic-y stuff going on. But it's not in your standard arcane format. It's in almost in another language and pattern, and you can't quite logic your way through it. Maybe if you had several hours, but after 5 or 10 minutes, you're unsure.
I'm afraid I don't really understand what this is. It's like magic language, but not my magic language.
You want me to try to take a gander at it?
Or me. Maybe an intuitive approach would help.
Mm-hmm.
Can I cast Detect Magic?
Yeah, you can do all those things. So, Ezekiel, you want to cast magic? Or detect magic?
Correct.
Okay. Doing so, the pillar is magical. As far as its school of magic enchantment.
Makes sense. Y'all were rolling some Arcana checks?
Oh, right.
Alright.
Oh, 10.
I love when I roll a die and it just drops onto a number and it stays there. That's a 25.
Okay. So, Millie and Ellery kind of looking at it as some language you don't fully understand. Amsen looking at it, while they're kind of looking at the pillar, which you kind of recognize it, while there are glyphs there, you notice the chains have some symbols on them as well. And Ezekiel, you would notice the chains are also magic as well as the pillar. The chains themselves, looking at some of those glyphs that were overlooked at first, you recognize that it's likely if someone is placed in these chains, a magical effect will ensue. It doesn't appear to be a violent or evocative magical effect, but something more sedating. It's hard to say without identify, but it doesn't seem to be a painful effect.
Alright, then I will let everyone know that I think this is some sort of non-lethal trap of some sort, meant to drive people away or something. Either that or keep people in. I'm not sure.
How about we don't touch it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure? You don't want
Yes.
to find out what it does?
Really?
Not with those chains on it, not particularly.
I don't mind chains.
Do you
every
want
now
to
and
touch
then.
it? If you want to touch it, Ezekiel, go ahead.
Well, let's just think through this. Daphne is doing something to this village. She may be protecting it, but some kind of ritual happens at this spot. We can go ask around in town. I feel like they're probably going to be a little bit cagey. Or I can put the chains on and say what happens. He said it's not violent.
A ritual with chains and a sedating effect, if I understood that correctly.
She
That thing
communicated-
drank your blood, Ezekiel. Can I just remind you of that?
I have eaten raw animals. How is that different? All I'm saying, she communicates with Ball in dreams. It may simply put someone to sleep so she can talk to them.
Do we want her to talk to any of us?
Melly? You're one to throw caution to the wind and have it work out for you.
Amsen.
No!
What do you suggest we do?
I'm not gonna lie, I zoned out. I don't actually know what's going on right now.
Melly, can you identify the pillar?
Sure.
Or
Yep.
the chains.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So, Melly, moving in, taking a few minutes, using your pearl, pulling it out to inspect the arcane lattice of whatever the spell is. At first, it's very confusing because it's crafted in a way that you're not used to. You want to categorize this not as arcane magic, as something else you're not familiar with, but you do understand its effects. When someone has the 2 chains bound around both of their wrists, they become at ease and drift asleep. That's all it seems to do, is put people to sleep.
Okay. Alright, I'll pass it on to the others.
Can I look around for traces of blood at this site?
Yeah, make a survival check.
Okay.
See, what's concerning me is that they're chains. You can't get out of them. So, like, she sedates you, puts you to sleep. She visits you in your dream and eats your brain?
18.
Or it's just a way of calming people down to be sacrificed.
That
Looking
was my
around,
first thought.
Ezekiel, no blood.
Brain vampire.
I'm going to look to the dog and ask, is something bad going to happen to me if I put those on?
Ezekiel, you hear in your head, well, there's one way to find out. As this fox dog is smiling at you. The rest of you don't hear anything.
Again, you don't work for Daphne?
Not precisely.
Insight check.
Make an insight check. How do you insight check a weird fae?
True,
wolf
and he's
fox?
talking in my head.
This talking in your head, yeah. You're just like, I've never experienced this before. Well, I work for myself, in a way. And he kind of hops off down next to you all by the pillar, kind of walking around it.
Look, Daphne appears to be getting a little bit aggressive. Worried she might be expanding, I don't know, her territory.
Her daydream basque, you mean?
Her what? Daydream basque.
Oh, so you were listening.
I just didn't think those were words.
Oh. Sometimes you have short attention spans.
That is true. I was never very good at studying things.
Me neither. I'm hungry.
What exactly do you get from blood?
A voice in your head.
Well, that makes sense.
Among other things. And it smiles at you.
Shit. Alright, friend, since I appear to have made a mistake, what can I do for you?
So good to hear you say those words. I'm hungry. And these people, all they have is vegetables and meat. I want a cake.
A what?
A cake, a pastry. Or a croissant, perhaps. Have you had one? The elves make the best.
Can't say I have.
You're missing out. If I just had a cake, maybe I would remember some of the dreams I've had.
Hi, everybody. Switching back to comment as you watch me talk to myself for a few minutes.
What the fuck is happening?
I can hear the dog's voice in my head now.
Tell them to join in on the fun.
No, I don't think I will do that. What do I call you?
What would you like to call me?
There are many words coming to mind. Few of them are kind, so why don't you tell me a name?
You can call me Indigo, if you'd like.
Indigo here would like a cake.
A birthday cake.
A birthday cake.
Is it
What?
Indigo's birthday? What the fuck, Ezekiel?
He seems to know something about what goes on here, and he would like a cake to convince him.
Where the fuck are we supposed to get cake?
I don't know.
Maybe we should
Was there a
just
bakery in town?
go on to the next town.
Yeah, they make wheat. They grow wheat, so there's probably a bakery in town.
Find
Make
some.
basic bread.
Find a
Nothing fancy.
grandma that might have a croissant.
Would it be possible that maybe we had, like, I don't know, like, dried cookies or something like that to bring along the road as rations? Something gross and kind of...
Unlikely. But if
Okay.
you did pull out some raisin cookie, it sticks his nose up at that weird granola bar. Tell them I want a special cake with a special ingredient.
If that ingredient is blood, I'm afraid we're going to have a lot of problem.
Maybe just a few. 1 or 2
1 or 2 what?
drops.
Look, friend, I'm not quite sure what you're after, and my curiosity in this situation is piqued, do not get me wrong, but I have better things to do if this is going to take a lot of time.
We could speed this up, perhaps. Do you have something else I want? Something special, perhaps? Or are you like all the rest that come and go? It's my birthday, good sir. Just 1 or 2 drops of blood, good sir. He kind of begins sniffing at your bags just to see if there's anything interesting.
I will quickly update everyone on the situation.
Let me reiterate, what the fuck?
I hate everything that's happening right now.
Should we just keep going?
Well, I'm a little worried that this thing is going to keep talking to me,
Valid.
and I already have enough voices in my head, thank you. I literally have no worldly possessions, so there's nothing interesting in my equipment. I have a 2-finger ring. And take out, this is shiny. Do you like shiny things? That's more of a raccoon.
Is this thing magical? I can't remember. Or is it just a...
No.
What about a hat? Do you have a hat, good sir?
I look at Amsen.
With a ribbon, good sir.
As every bard does, one of my costumes has a great big wide-brimmed hat with, like, several feathers, gigantic big feathers coming out of it.
Do you pull it out?
Sure, I'll pull it out.
I must have it. Have him place it on his head. I'd like to see it.
Amsen puts it on his head, does a pose, turns around a little bit.
Those quills, are they sharp enough, though, for the hat?
Think so?
Are you? I assume Ezekiel was translating.
Yeah, I'm playing telephone.
Tell him to take the quill out and prove it.
No, not gonna do that.
You're no fun. A boring hat is so dull. Maybe just a drop. What about this one? I like her scarf. As it moves towards Melly.
Alright. Friend,
You're boring me.
and you're boring me, so what do you want besides
a
blood?
hat? Oh, that's really all you have to offer, as far as I can tell. A few shiny rings and a few drops of blood, maybe. I'm not like Daphne. Not at all. You'd be surprised about who she is and where she comes from. I could tell you. I've known her for quite some time.
Well, how about I chain you into the little pillars over there, and we just see what happens.
Good.
I think Vesper's been digging in her bag this time as he's talking about, like, something interesting. And I just kind of come up with the Gullah eyeball and the silver skull in that cage, or the tiny skull in that silver cage. And I just kind of awkwardly hold both of these out.
I don't like this one, but you've given me an idea. An eye for an eye. I'll give you a trade. Mine for yours. Tell her, Ezekiel.
Do you want to trade eyes with this creature? Or just one?
Oh.
Yeah, didn't think so.
Wait, what does it mean by like this? Or like mine?
Mm-hmm. It nods.
What do I get out of it?
Mine.
And what does that get me?
You'll have to wait and see. You don't want to ruin the surprise.
How about now?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't think so.
Well, if you don't want to do business, it's such a shame. To know who she once was, she's not who she appears to be. Where's she from, and where she goes, and what she uses in the night. Curious things you could know. Any offers before I go for you to know?
I, unfortunately, have already given my blood to this creature. I'd ask none of you to do the same, but if anyone is so piqued in their curiosity...
Just a drop on the quill on the hat. Just an eye. Just a scarf. Well, if there's no takers... It looks like one last look at each of you, kind of
I'll
meeting
pull out
your
a knife
ears.
and prick my thumb. Fuck this shit.
What comes with it? The hat, perhaps? Use the quill, my dear. Tell her, Ezekiel, to use the quill and the hat.
Yeah, I tell her to use the quill.
So you take the quill, and do you put a drop to the edge of the quill? Vesper's like holding her pricked finger and then the quill separated. Do you place it? Okay. So she actually touches it too. He instructs you, if you follow, tell me if you don't, to put the quill into the hat with a drop of blood on the end, and then to place the hat on his head. Do you do all those things?
Yes, I do, because nobody else wants to do anything, and we're at an impasse, so fuck it.
Okay. So now Ezekiel and Vesper, you can now hear the words in your head. Lovely, lovely indeed. Daphne is not all what she seems. A drop of glitter in the night hides away the nightmare's fright.
Can you tell us about the riddles?
I've told you so clear. She used something in the night, glitter, to hide the fright. I can't be more clear than this. If you should find her in the night, you'll find the fright. And about these chains, well, a lover and a quarrel's game. You're smart to not use them, or perhaps boring. You'll live longer being cautious, playing things so coy. It has this weird, and the rest of you can't hear any of this. You just see this weird Cheshire cat grin on this foxwolf. Well, I have a new hat and a ball to attend. Perhaps I'll see you sometime again.
Is she hurting the people of this town?
Giving them something, purpose. Giving them something, safety, taking away, but a bit.
What is she taking?
Well, finding lovers. The summer's game. Though if you'll find her the night is a whole different game she plays. It's smiling, like knowing it's talking in riddles.
I don't know, but whatever conclusion I just came to, I do not like.
Well, I like my new hat, thank you for that. Freed I am, and I'll see you in your dreams.
Or don't. That's fine.
Oh, invite me, say my name. You know it now too, Vesper.
Honestly, I have already forgot, but...
Oh, you can't, though. And you just hear in your head, indigo, 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 as it all of you see it disappears. And
Sometimes I can be reckless.
I hate everything that just happened.
What the fuck did just happen, Vesper?
Oh my god, it was talking in my head.
And what was it saying?
Not a lot. Well, a lot, without actually saying anything. A lot of riddles.
Glitter in the night to hide from the fright. Find her at night and find the fright.
Basically, in the daytime, she's something else than she is at night.
The chains are involved in a lover and a quarrels game. She provides help and protection to this town, but she takes something from them that he was not incredibly clear on.
Something about lovers, but in the day, and then I see that face, Ellery, I know. But then something different at night. It's a different game.
The fright is with her, and we need glitter to keep it away.
Wasn't there glitter on the Verdana we saw? Or something in Amsen's story?
Could be a fairy fire. Might be a way to repel whatever.
It's close enough to glitter that we have on hand.
Well, here's the question. Again, now that we know a little bit more, do we care enough to do something about this thing?
What is she taking from this town?
That's what I'm concerned about.
Maybe we stay one more night.
I wouldn't mind.
I want to try something in the morning.
Give us some time to theory craft and think for a night.
Okay. Do y'all go back to stay in Haamel? Do you stay out here in the woods? Or?
I might post up by the pillar, try and see if anything happens in the night. Thinking back, there was a fair amount of promiscuity happening. I don't know. But if people are escaping into the woods and someone comes across this thing, I'm going to keep an eye out here for tonight.
I don't think
you.
Yeah, you shouldn't be out here alone.
Yeah, if you're going to be out here, then the rest of us should probably be camping nearby.
I could pull an all-nighter and just keep mostly as an animal. I'll be a little tired tomorrow, but maybe worth it.
I still think the rest of us should stay at least nearby.
Yeah.
Well, how close are we to, the barn in this area?
It's with the party barn, or
Party barn.
The party barn's kind of on the north end, and the pillar sort of the southwest end. So it's kind of on the opposite sides.
All right, so party barn is probably not bringing them here. I'll stay. Maybe not the whole night, but at least a few hours while the festivities are going on. I might check it out here. Just keep an eye. If someone wants to join me, that's fine. If not, I'll, be a rabbit or something.
I'll stay.
Maybe someone else can go ask around about the pillar. See if anybody knows anything in town.
Sure. We'll go to the party again and make casual conversation.
Okay. So it's about that time, and it's still fairly early in the day. It's maybe 10 or 11. Yeah, it's probably actually closer to 12 after gathering the supplies and asking around. It's about noon or so as you're kind of deciding where to go next, who's staying, who's going, and that is where we're going to pick up next week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Back to the Story. For notifications when an episode goes live, you can find us on Stitcher, Google Play, Player FM, or TuneIn. Download the app and subscribe or favorite us there. If you'd like to contact us, you can tweet us at back2_the_story. If you can't fit it into 280 characters, you can email us at thebonfirefables@gmail.com. And if you'd like further information about the campaign, the player characters, NPCs, or behind-the-scenes sneak peeks, follow us on either Twitter or on our Tumblr website. Lastly, if you'd like to support the show, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory.